Hello E39 source, Kennan here with the 2001 E39 525, and today's video is a little bit hard for me to make because the time has finally come for me to part ways with my beloved 525. Now, I'm making my appeal to you, the enthusiast community out there. If you're interested in purchasing this car, I've come to you first. So if you're interested in the car, I'm looking to get about $6,000 for it. I am open to offers. If you're interested, please email me at kennan@e39source.com, and please keep that to people who are in the United States. I know we have a very diverse audience, but if you're in the United States, if you're in the area or know someone who is interested in a car like this, please drop me a line. So for those of you who are not familiar with the car, it is a February of 2001 525 with a 5-speed in topaz blue metallic over a gray Montana interior. It has the Sport Premium package, so it comes with the Style 5 wheels. They are in pretty good shape. There's some curb rashing on some of them. This one is pretty minor, but there are some marks on a couple of them, a little bit here, but they're good. They're in good shape otherwise. The front runs a set of Continental Extreme Contact DWSs with plenty of life left on them, and in the rears I have Michelin Pilot Sport AS3s. I was going to switch to a complete set of AS3s, but then I found my M5, so I really just sort of didn't want to, especially with so much life left on the fronts. I'll walk over here and I'll show you these ones as well. Again, plenty of life left on them. That wheel's in good shape. Trying to find one that does have some curb rash, so this one's got a little bit here, but again, the tread is plentiful on those. The overall exterior condition of this car I would give an 8 out of 10. I am picky, as you know, but there are some things. The front bumper is original and has not been repainted. You can see a mark there in it. There's a couple other marks down here, but it isn't cracked or anything like that. But it does have some years of wear on it. There is this dent in the fender, which is about golf ball size, and I think that's what caused it. It was like that when I got the car. I'm pretty sure a golf ball just whacked it there. Walking down the fender, there's a little dent here, some stone chips, but pretty minor aside from that. The body is pretty straight. There are a couple of small dents in it, nothing that PDR won't repair. Aside from that, it is in good shape. Another little stone chip there. This is the most notable scratch on the whole car. It's hard to focus, but it's about 2 inches long. There's that. Of course, being an 01, it is facelifted. The stainless tails are in very good shape. No corrosion on the wires or anything like that. There's a small love mark down here from someone, and a little paint chip there. Walking around, there's some scratches here. Those are from my father sliding a gas can in and out beside the car last winter, so not very appreciative of that. This is the oddest thing on the entire car, this mark here. It was like this when I got it. I have a brand new gas cap door primed and ready to be painted. Never got to it, and it does have this odd mark. It's lucky that it doesn't hit anywhere in the body, it's just on the door. No idea how the previous owner did that. But there it is. And yes, we do have gas cap rust in here that needs to be repaired, but I'll go over the rust in just a moment. Again, walking down the side, there's another rust spot there, about quarter sized. Really, outside of that, there isn't much to note. A little mark here on the mirror. And outside of that, again, I am picky, and they were all things I was going to fix, but then, again, along came my M5. The hood is in very good shape. I have had it resprayed. The reason was my dad dropped a pole down onto my hood when he was putting it up in the attic and left a mark. Nothing that was really that severe, but I did want to have it repainted anyway because it had stone chips. This car saw a lot of highway use in its formative years, I guess. But the paint match is very good, I have to say, and I know it's hard to tell on camera, obviously, but the paint match is very nice, and it is a very nice finish. So that's the exterior of the car. Let's run inside a little bit. As Luke Visnick would say, this is kind of where this car shines. It definitely has been cared for. There is wear on the driver's seat, obviously. Again, this car has 173,000 miles on it, which I know is high, but it has been well cared for otherwise. I do have an M5 steering wheel. This car came with a heated steering wheel. If you would prefer that, I could give that back to you. The M5 steering wheel came off of Ryan's 2000 E39 M5, and it is in pretty decent shape for having, I think, 190 something thousand miles on it. And now I do have the 5-speed. This actually came off of a Z3M shifter. Shift boot and shift knob. It is illuminated, which is nice. Interior wise, the one big thing I added was auxiliary. I added an April of 2003 CD unit, so it does have auxiliary in it, and I will be including that with the car. In terms of wear, there really isn't a whole lot to note in here. As you can see, the passenger seat is in excellent condition. The rear seats are both in very good shape. Again, it looks like hardly anybody sat back there in my ownership. I have a hunch that was a similar story with the other owners of the car, so it's in great shape. The door panels, all 4 of them are in excellent condition. In the trunk, I do have stuff back here right now. I have my jacket because it's January, but it's 50 degrees. And then just some things here. But I do have all of the tools that came with the car, except for the road triangle, which I don't believe came in the United States. So I've got that. I also have the spare, which is down here. I have a detailing cloth in there. It's a full-size spare with another Style 5 on it, and that is the original tire that came on it from when I bought the car previously. So yeah, it still has plenty of tread on it. I've only used it once ever. It's pretty much the trunk. You have standard equipment back here. The tiny non-DSP amp, no navigation, no CD, nothing like that, although it is pre-wired for CD and telephone. Moving to the other side again, where there is a tiny tear right there in the leather. That's been like that since I got it. The previous owner did that somehow, not sure how. Probably just caught it on a pant button or something. But the seats again are in very good shape. The rear deck also is in very good shape. These C-pillars are in good shape as well, although this one has delaminated just a little bit right up here. Other than that, it is in good shape. Passenger seat on this side again from this angle, no bolster wear at all to note there. In very clean shape. The carpets are all in very clean shape as well. Center console, there are some cracks in the wood veneer. One here, there's one there, another tiny one here, and one last one right there. Outside of that is the only notable interior wear that I can point out to you. Okay, so from the driver's seat, I'm going to show you all the window regulators work seamlessly. In addition to the sunroof, which I can't believe I'm opening this in January, but it does work the way it was designed to do. And there are no problems. I'll close that and close the windows. And you'll see it will meet up. No problem. Don't have to push on it or anything. I'll go ahead and start the car for you so you can hear what it sounds like. Oh, that's embarrassing. Nope. Yep. That's pretty embarrassing. Dead battery. I've been detailing the car the day before, so the doors and such had been open and the lights were on, and therefore the car was not happy with me when I went to drive it. I hadn't driven it, too much, so the battery was not very pleased with me. Yeah, I didn't want to recharge the battery. It's been 3 years since it's been replaced. It's in the time that I've had it, I've never had to do it. So I went out today, the next day. Today is February the 1st, and I bought a new battery, so you don't have to deal with any of those headaches, and neither do I in the remainder of time that I own the car. So it was just embarrassing more than anything else. My dad came and gave me a jump, and the car was fine. But just wanted to explain that it wasn't anything else wrong with the car. It was just a dead battery, and yeah, it just hurt my ego more than anything else. Alright, with the car running, you can see the only light on is telling me to buckle my seat belt. But, there we go. So, yeah, 163,609 miles. I was trying to get the computer to come up so I could show you the coolant temp. But everything does run at temperature. Obviously, it's cold right now because I'm not really driving the car, so we'll drive it a little bit so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. Second gear. So it does run like a BMW should, very smooth inline 6 action. Got some neighbors down here, so I'll be very courteous to them. So the car does shift smoothly. The clutch take-up is still very nice. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a little bit. I want to show you what I've done to this car. But it does run really well, like a BMW is supposed to. The suspension is pretty compliant. Again, I will talk about that a little bit more. There is some sinker grind in first gear, but again, with a gearbox with that kind of mileage on it, that's kind of to be expected. Power steering still feels pretty good. Not a whole lot of leaks or anything like that. There's my mom walking dogs, and that's pretty much all I have to say about driving it. It does still drive like a BMW should. And just so you can hear the M54 TB25 running, there it is. You can hear a little bit of the belt drive noise. I do have the full system to replace that. I'll discuss that here in just a minute. But otherwise, the engine runs like a top. The VCG is leaking a little bit, as you can see there. Again, I do have the replacement for that, and over the coming weeks I do intend to replace it. But other than that, the driveline in the car is very tight, and it runs quite well. Alright guys, so we just wanted to go over some maintenance with you that I've done to the car in the time that I have had it. As you can see, I've spent over $10,000 on the car, almost $11,000. That does not include the cost of the headlights. I have put the Euro spec headlights on the M5, so they're not included with this car. I do have a set of DJ Autos if you're interested in adding xenons back onto the car. Otherwise, it comes with the original Halogen US spec headlights. As you can see, I acquired the car on the 17th of February 2013. We paid $6,500 for it. After tax and everything, but to be fair, it did need quite a lot of stuff, as you can see as we go through this. So first oil change recorded there. I have done oil changes pretty periodically. BMW says do them every 10,000 miles. I like to do them about every 7 or so. This, as you can see, I did the overhaul of the cooling system. I replaced the thermostat, coolant temperature sensor, and did a flush of the coolant system, so I have all that stuff there. There was a chip in the windshield that I had repaired. You can see where that is. If you see the car in person, it was repaired quite well. There's no cracks or anything like that. I can say there's quite a bit of pitting on the windshield, but to the best of my knowledge, again, it is original. Here's when I replaced the tires for the very first time. Here's a big one. So the clutch. So I had that done. It went out on me, I think it was right around there, around 146,000 miles. I believe it was original to the car, so it was definitely due to be replaced. It wasn't slipping or anything seriously like that. It just one day I had a very catastrophic clutch failure, and it needed to be replaced. So that's what I did. So now it has about, looking at it now, we have just over 20,000. We've about just a little more than 20,000 miles on the clutch now. So it still picks up beautifully, and Jim & Sons did it with all OEM components as I specified, so I'm very happy with that. The brakes, here we go. I replaced everything with Hawk HPS dustless brake pads. I will say this, they do squeak quite a bit. They are wonderful in that they don't create a lot of brake dust, which is why I like them. The squeaking didn't bother me very much. I have the OEM pads as well. If you would like those to be included with the car if the squeaking bothers you. It has gotten a lot better since Ryan and I greased it, despite the fact he didn't think it would make a difference. It definitely did. Also replaced the front brake discs there at almost 150,000 miles. We did all the rotor set screws. If you ever need to change those rotors again, they are now all, I believe it's stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about those rusting. I do have a valet key for the car, so you have two keys, the master and the valet. Here's the hood dent that I mentioned that I had repaired. Again, that was done quite well. Let's see here. Fan clutch started to make a lot of noise, so I replaced that. Here, the rest of this is all part of the cooling system. I didn't have to really replace it until 2014, which is on the next page. So we go to expenses 2014. So here again, another oil change. I've only ever used 5W30 in the car as per BMW's recommendation. Sway links I had done. Yes, I realized I was taken for a ride based on how much I paid to have those done. But at the time it was pretty cold, and Ryan and I didn't have the know-how how to replace those. So sway links at all 4 points has been completed. Had a power steering flush there. Again, another. I bought just a quart of oil. I always like to have an extra quart on hand that I forgot to buy with the last set. I used all Zano products on this car. I currently am running Zano Clear Seal and Zano, ZAIO. And that combination seems to work pretty well. Here the rear, when I overhauled the rear brakes, so they're the rear pads. And looking down a little bit further, move more set screws. Here's all the trim. I did replace the trim with black trim for the car. The exterior, I think it adds a nice sporty look. I bought some M5 trim from Ryan and then did the front license plate delete. I do have the front license plate holder if it is required in your state. I do have that. It is painted body color to match. Otherwise, I have the black trim on there. I have all the original trim if you prefer that, but I personally like the black trim a lot better. So I have that. And that's all. I did replace the M5 kidney grills. Those are OEM kidney grills. So I won't be taking those out of the car. Those come with it. Tire balance, cabin air filter. Here's the auxiliary kit overhaul that I did. That was another more oil, another oil change here. Now let's see, more Zano stuff, and then E-Check, which it passed with flying colors. I have all of those records if that interests you. And then expenses from the past year, again, registration, rest of the oil stuff. This all is for the CCV system that I had replaced last year. I was starting to get the milky dipstick and the cap, so I thought that it would be best to replace it, and so I did. I did an oil change shortly after. I tried Mobile One. Honestly, it really didn't make a difference. I didn't send it out for Blackstone analysis. But really, honestly, as long as you change the oil frequently with the correct weight, it really shouldn't matter. And then here's where the service was actually performed. I had it done at Koala Motorsport. I will never go back there again. They did an okay job replacing it, but their customer service was awful, and they did break other things on the car. And they scratched it as well, so I will not take my car back there ever again. But they did perform the service, and the PCV/CCV system does work as designed. Here's all the expel stuff I did for the headlights. I have to move that over to the M5 spreadsheet. Let's see what else. More Zano stuff. Another alignment here that I did in May. More detailing stuff. I should all move that all over to the M5. So here, this is all for the belt drive system that I have not yet replaced. Again, I have everything that I could find on the real OEM Parts Explosion. It is all there. I just have not yet had the chance to put it in. This is all parking brake hardware. I found that we really just need to adjust my parking brake. There's nothing wrong with it. It works beautifully. But I do have that if you're interested in having that. And then another oil change that was completed here. Let's see. The FSU, that was a very inconvenient time when that died. It died Timmy Fest weekend, so I did not have air conditioning on Timmy Fest weekend. That was really annoying, but I did replace that, so that is done. More detailing stuff, and then I wanted to have all of the parts or all the tools that came with the car, so these were the last two that I needed to buy outside of that triangle. And then the Michelin Pilot Sportsman, I had those, tire installation, I had a balance done, had the alignment checked. The car was well within spec. That was in August, and that was really the last thing that I did to the car. I have since re-registered the car and replaced the battery, so I need to make note of that on here. But again, I do have full records and receipts of everything. I'll film a real short clip of that. So if you're as anal as I am, I have taken care of it to that point, and you will get a full set of records from my ownership of everything that I have replaced. Alright guys, so I wanted to go over the CARFAX report with you here that I have printed out. There is an accident that was reported. This is done in my ownership. We'll discuss that in just a second. But again, no damage was reported. Again, I'll talk about that in detail in just a moment. I am the third owner of the car, which is kind of cool that it is relatively low ownership. As you can see, the first owner had the car for quite some time, which is pretty cool that they owned it for that long. The second owner had it for 3 years. And then, of course, I've owned the car now for over 3 years as well. So originally the car was a North Carolina car, which probably explains the relatively low amount of rust that's on it. This person took very good care of it. It was serviced at BMW dealerships. Nothing really that stands out there to me. Again, all BMW dealerships, and then some tire places on there as well. And the second owner is based in Michigan. Not a lot of. I mean, you can't go too in depth with CARFAX. You can just see when it was registered and all that stuff. Which is good. And of course, this isn't exactly accurate because I got the car before this date. This is when I got the car. It was 2/16. So can't really, CARFAX really isn't very accurate with their stuff, but it gives you a nice general idea. Here's the clutch that I talked about, and TV stuff. Things like that. Doing suspension, I had suspension checked, which I do relatively periodically. So here, this date I don't believe is actually correct. So this is when the accident occurred. So what happened was I was coming back from my grandparents' house. They live about a half an hour away from me. It was in the summer. I was pretty relaxed. Not driving crazy or anything like that. Just wanted to get home, to be honest with you. So I was doing well within the speed limit on my way home, and I came to a corner, and the motorcycles came around the corner well out of control. They were well in my lane, and I could tell the motorcycles was not going to be able to regain control. And he fell off his motorcycle, and then I swerved out of the way and missed him completely. So I didn't hit him, nothing like that. There's no damage reported on the car. Though it does say that I hit a motorcycle, that was not the case. It is noted in the police report, which I have copies from all of the eyewitnesses, that say that I did not hit the motorcyclist at all. There was a second motorcyclist involved, his buddy, who came around the corner and then had to avoid me. But I did not hit anybody. Nobody hit me. So that the car, again, it was a pretty shaking experience. I was only 19. My 20th birthday was or I was only 18. My 19th birthday was coming up, and it was a pretty shaking experience. And it really bonded me with the car. Again, this is why it's so difficult for me to sell it, because I do feel that the car, in a lot of ways, saved my life, because it did exactly what I told it to do when I told it to do it. And it handled exactly as I expected it to do. If I had been in my dad's Chevy, I feel that I probably would have hit the motorcyclist, because that car would not have been able to to withstand the inputs that I demanded of it in that instance to avoid that motorcyclist. So it does have that. Again, I have full copies of the police report to verify everything I'm telling you, but I did not hit the motorcyclist, and the car was completely fine. Going down here, looking more NTV stuff. I stopped going to them because I just don't like them very much. And then D for tire. Again, they checked the suspension and the wheels and alignment and everything, and everything was well within spec. Again, I have the sheet to show you how everything looks as far as the car goes. As far as pre-purchase inspections go, I'm more than welcome to that idea. If you want to have someone around here do it, Alaric BMW again is who Ryan and I trust. But of course, that's someone Ryan and I know. If you'd like to have someone independent look at it, I'm more than open to having someone look at the car, if that would make you more comfortable. That sort of wraps up the video that I have. I know it's been long and detailed, but if you're looking to buy a car, I want to be as detailed as possible and forthcoming with you as I can be. So if you have any questions, please email me at Kennan@e39source.com. I'll be happy to answer them right away. And I am looking for a very good home. Most importantly, I'm looking for a very good home for this car. As I've mentioned, it is very important to me. So finding the right owner is very important. And if it's you or someone you know, I would love to send the car off to your stable. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I apologize again for it being such a long video, but if you've watched it to this point, I hope that you're interested in the car. But yes, thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I will have videos of the M5 coming very soon. The weather's starting to get nice, so I can finally film some stuff that I've wanted to film. And we've got quite one hell of a summer coming up, and it's going to be great. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in later videos.